Hello everyone and welcome to TeamsNation. This is the monthly meetup for June this year and it's a summer solstice, the longest day in the year. So and of course everybody is enjoying their time in this meeting. So instead of being on the beach or somewhere else. But hey, it's great to see you all here and this is going to be fantastic. And of course we have our presenter Rob here already and my co-organizer Chris is there as well. But before we get started on that, just a kind of quick peek about what's the TeamsNation. And in the core, it's about the network, it's about the community, it's about you and us. Like we have the people who are passionate about teams, who want to share their knowledge, learn from each other, and understanding the technologies and how you can use and utilize teams and take it to the next level. And of course, because this is the community user group, Meetup, or however you want to put that, we want to have the community to have options to present and share this information. So it's just not about the big conferences or something like that, but all the time running process where everybody in the community can be in touch with each other. And so you are getting the knowledge and you are getting the experience. And in the core, there's four of us. Chris Hoard and Adam Deldinger found this group a few years, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And since okay, I guess I'm just going to hit mute on one. All right. Getting back to content, we are not muting the audience, at least not yet. And but anyway, we had over I don't know what's that 21 of these user group meetings in 2.5 years, and over 40 speakers, and then we already had those 4 amazing conferences. And our meetup group is growing all the time. There's already over 600 of us in there. And if you do want to speak, please go ahead and check the URL teamsnation.rocks/CFS and submit your session or idea what you would be wanting to talk about in these monthly meetups. Today, as said, we have one core speaker here. Robert will be talking about his topic, and then Chris and I will be talking about about the TeamsNation community conference this year, having kind of retro review. What was going on in there and what we learned about it. As usual, some ads. Of course, we want to put some ads. Get involved with us. Share the word, join the community, and then join the meetup if you are not there already. Check out the YouTube. By the way, the conference videos are there, so you have lots of content to go through and start learning from there. And join our LinkedIn group as well. And our next meetup will be on July. I guess, Chris, you will be taking care of that meetup. And then so you can find that in our meetup group. I will be enjoying the vacation during that time, so so you don't have to listen to me during July. And this is big. We are expanding. We are growing. We are going to have new organizers. We are going to have 2 new organizers to help us steer this awesome group. Paul Dredge from UK and Matti Paukkonen from Finland are joining the core team of TeamsNation. So instead of having just 4 of us, there's going to be 6 of us from now on. So and hopefully it will impact to you as we are being a bit more versatile, being a bit more people here, so we can do lots of things better than we did before. But now I guess it's time to go for speaker spot, and Robert will be talking about team for leaders, kind of becoming a better teams lead or team lead, backed by Microsoft Teams. That was a lot of team there. I get wrapped, my tongue got stuck in there. So Robert, please take over and start sharing your screen. This is not my day.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Vesco. Yeah, and as discussed, I have 2 hours, right? No, kidding, of course. Yeah, welcome everybody. And first of all, thanks for the great introduction, Vesco, and also to everybody of you organizing this TeamsNation series. It can just point it out again and again. It's so amazing what you do for the community. And as you said at the beginning, this is really for us, from us, learning from each other. And this is a really, really great approach, what I really love in the community, what I love with IT. So therefore, I'm very, very happy also to provide something today for this reoccurrence. Yeah, all right. As Vesco already said, we want to focus on Microsoft Teams for leaders because we usually talk about the end users, while leaders are mostly also just end users, but they have a very, very, very important role because, you know, when the IT is trying to drive adoption, try to roll out teams, but the leaders, especially the mid-management, is not following this and just continue writing emails or whatever they use. And then in the end, your users, what will they do? Will they just follow what their IT is saying or what my manager is saying? So worst case, of course, I do what my manager is doing. So therefore, it's super, super important to focus also to support the leaders and especially how they can use Teams and some of the regarding supplement tools underneath to make their life easier and to support the usage of Microsoft Teams. Yeah, what I have prepared for this, or just one word to my person, if you haven't heard about me, I'm Rob. I founded a little side business called SkillBridge, but I'm yeah, also working for the company Context AI, and we are, yeah, therefore I'm coming from this adoption perspective, running adoption analytics, and therefore also build a Microsoft Teams bot on top of this to, yeah, have an individual coaching and training for each employee in your organization without the need to send millions of trainers, because this is the bot then doing. So yeah, this is what I'm mostly doing during the weekdays. And now let's start with using Teams for managers. And when I also do a look back, previously, before I started working for Context AI, I worked for the company AvePoint, and there was also leading an EMEA-wide team of pre-sales engineers. And I gained a lot of feedback from these very open team that we had. So really was sharing is caring, also with negative or with constructive feedback, and all these experiences I gained yeah, with using Teams and how to appreciate the colleagues with Teams, I would like to share now today. But looking more on the general perspective, looking back. So previously it was just one core team consisting of the different colleagues of this team. Pretty easy, nothing special. This worked pretty well in the 1970s, 80s, and also the 1990s. But in the 1990s, also the so-called balance scorecard were introduced, so where we were not only looking on the outcome, on the real results, that also some other numbers like the health of our employees or the product departments and then some KPIs from these departments were also taken into consideration. But beforehand, and really driven beforehand, these were really based off this Cold War, also in quotes, really the Cold War, that everybody was just following yeah, the government. When they said, oh, take care and there's an enemy, they just followed. So there was one leader and there was no question of this. They just followed this approach. Aligning with this, there were also the booming years, because this one leader said, work hard, play hard. And somebody's not muted. Maybe Vesco, you can help me with this. Yeah, so the idea was work hard, play hard means the harder you work, probably the most outcome you achieved, and therefore you also gained more benefits. And this was also clear: work harder, harder, harder. This was actually the underlying message, and therefore hierarchy, hierarchy, hierarchy. So as long as you do what the leader wants from you, everything is fine. But when we are driven so much based on the outcome, so much based on the results, and this would be like taking now the European soccer championship in mind, that we only focus on the fans, so that they're cheering on. So we just listen to them, so to the results, how they feel, but we were not listen to our players. So when we try to look at this for a soccer team, this is of course very, very bad, because sure, we should first look at our players, and when they perform well and when they feel good, then they will also perform well, and this will then also create good outcomes for the fans, and not the other way around. And this now came, yeah, with a new millennium, so with the 2000s and 2010 years, that the focus were going more and more on the users. And with one user, I want to say the Generation Z. We know them, and not negatively, so they are demanding, but they can also deliver a lot. But yeah, this new demanding approach was totally new to most of the managers, because they said, hierarchy, I tell you what to do and you just follow. No, it's now another the other way around, that we should more clearly listen to them, because they have needs, they have certain demands, and we can make them even more productive when we satisfy also their needs. So this were popping up with this Generation Z. And not only these generations were coming up, but also in general, the framework of our daily work has changed. So coming back to our team, our core team, same users inside, but what has changed now, it's not this core team anymore. We are engaged in super many sub-projects or different projects, and we try to engage anyhow with everybody, because somebody needs help here, somebody needs help there, and I can help on these fields. So it's not like just only focusing on my team. We are really connected with many other teams, and this makes it, of course, way more complex to satisfy the needs of our colleagues, and also to align them with the company goals in this case. All right, what you can see now, it's quite complex. And one last slide with numbers. This means, coming from this journey, we are working in twice as many teams as we did 5 years ago. Actually, the survey was made before Corona, so maybe in 2020 there were even more than 75% working remotely. But also interesting, sometimes, especially in large organization, up to 5 generations are working in the same company, in the same working environment, and all of them have different needs. And these needs we want to satisfy with Teams and the M365 solution stack. What can we do? Quite easily. And this I would like to highlight here in green. So it's personal meetings, virtual online meetings, sure thing. The teamwork places, so Teams itself, we know it, so the different teams, but also instant messaging, so chats and so on and so forth. This is where we will now have a look, also with a live demo, where our managers will have an easy life to address all the different needs across these generations. Because what we can see here, what I highlighted here, that across these generations, the need, the demand of the regarding generation is more or less the same. So all of them pretty much value and appreciate that they have personal meetings, that they have virtual online meetings, and so on and so forth. But there are some harder topics, now highlighted in red, where we of course also have some tool stack in Office 365. Sure, virtual online meetings with video. Sure, we also have Teams, but here, of course, we need to take care that while the new generation immediately switch on the camera, for example, they like to have this video. We have this baby boomer on the other side, they don't switch it on. And especially in big companies, it's harder to just say, hey, we meet now online, switch on the video. It's harder for the manager, for the leader to convince all of them because they simply have different needs. But of course, Teams and the regarding M365 solution stack underneath will also help. But this is a longer story, so therefore we focus on the low-hanging fruits today. So therefore on the green ones, and the regarding solution stack, I will show you live just in a moment. So last but not least, we now focused the different needs in regards to the functionality, so what Teams can cover into M365 solution stack, but what does the team specifically needs? I see here this is still a screenshot from a previous session. Let's start on top. This is to clarify and give some structure to our team. So they need a clear roadmap, a clear guidance, what to do. And then doesn't matter if it's generation baby boomer or generation Z, they are totally aligned and they know what to do. Next one, super important, is the appreciation. Also for me personally, a very, very important thing, because I usually go the extra mile. I work till late in the evening, but I need at least a thank you for this. And I will show you what leaders can easily do in team to also focus on this component. Leaders should also reflect themselves. So everybody can fail, also leaders, and they should be honest with this and also say, my dear team, this was a mistake, what I did. I take it on me. Will not do this mistake again, or simply when you forgot somebody to appreciate, take on this feedback to make it better next time. And this leads to the point to be empathic. When you say, okay, it was a mistake, but next time we will do it better, this is simply an easy thing to be recognized as an empathic leader. The KFI, I will come to this in the end. Of course, we should add value. I'm not sure about you guys, but I have to raise my hand about meetings where you come in and go out without any decision, because without anything that was now provided. This is not what I need. When I spend time in a meeting, I need some value. I need something that I can take out, some next action steps, for example, or simply that my manager provides me any kind of value, any help. Otherwise, I'm feeling kind of loose. So therefore, this is also very important for your colleagues. Giving autonomy, also important. Don't make micromanagement. I know some need more room to have autonomy. Some needs less room to really need more structured, more detailed steps, what to do. But in general, trust your colleagues and give them autonomy that they can make decisions in themselves. So I will also show you how this is easily possible. And inspire, I think everybody would agree. This is not that easy how to do something, but there's also one thing in Teams that can help you at least to think about and to give you some ideas, approaches, how you can maybe inspire your team. And then I said, KFI, I wanted to jump to bring out at the last point here, what could KFI mean? It's not a KPI, it's not a key performance indicator. It's a key fun indicator. Super, super important thing, because we are very, very more modern working together, especially when we are working from home. The social component is way more important to drive this, especially with remote teams, so that we all together have fun. Because when you're in the office, when you meet in the kitchen, anyhow, there were some topics coming up, and anyhow, this was funny. But when you're working remotely, then this fun can really lack. And therefore, this is very, very important that you also look at the key fun indicator. And of course, we have a couple of things for to use in Teams as well. Okay, this costs time, and to reduce this time for the leaders, we have now the tool set that I have mentioned we can use, and focus is of course Teams, but there are some underlying tools from the M365 stack, as I said, which I showed here on the left-hand side, which I will show you now also in this quick demo. And I'm sliding in from the right-hand side. Just to remember, this is what we now went through. These were just the theory. As I said, these green circles, easy to achieve, so low-hanging fruits. So personal meetings, sure thing, we can do with Teams, instant messaging, chats, and so on and so forth. And here now, numbered with the regarding dots are the specific actions that your team requires from the regarding leader. And when I put this now together, we can see what function will sell into the regarding activity. So I hope you make now notes, because we will make a little test in the end, and I would like to see how much you will perform. No kidding, of course, but we will now go through these different functions that I've listed here now up, and how this will sell, how will this will drive the regarding activities that are required from the leaders. All right, ending here now my, where's this? No, where's my, here it is, Outlook. So I prepared here now already a little email to my dear colleague Edita, Eddie, and also my private email account, because we would like to start now with Outlook meeting poll add-in. Sure, not purely Teams, agree, but of course we can interact with Teams in the end, because what we can do here now, and why this is important to show appreciation. I had the scenario where some of my managers just set a meeting. I was fully blocked for the entire week, really, with customer appointments, and my manager was just, I don't care about your appointments. This is my time, and you have to manage anyhow your appointments. I don't care about this. You have to be in my meeting now. This was really crap, because this was no appreciation at all. Anyhow, I had to reorganize my customer meetings to be anyhow with my manager, because otherwise he maybe wanted to fire me, and I was really pissed, to be that precise. More easy it is, sure, to check at least the calendar, and this can be very time consuming. Way more easier is it to use some tools, and this is this meeting poll add-in. When we added this into Outlook, it shows up here in the ribbon, and then we can just pop it out, and it will now try to find a meeting with the regarding contact persons, which I have here now in the to or CC line. And what we can see, this is the wrong email address. It's this one. So with the users in the same tenant, I can see with green little people that the regarding person is free already, and this is just checking for the working hours, okay, and also for the guy, so for a personal account, he's an external one, so it can't be accessed the calendar, but anyhow I can now suggest a couple of appointments here. I just select them, I click on next, and I then can put a couple of additional schedules. I like, for example, hold the selected time so that nobody else can jump in, and also schedule automatic Teams meeting. So here we have the integration with Teams when a consensus of all required attendees is reached. So this is really nice. And then I can add this here to the email, which makes totally sense when sending out this to external users. But when it's just internal, then you can, of course, also just copy this link and then also paste into Teams, of course, if you want to have it a full Teams experience. So this is how it usually goes. And this is what then totally helps you to schedule a meeting for you and with your colleagues, and showing appreciation because you appreciate their time. You even give them autonomy because they can select what meeting fits best for them. This is giving back trust, and yeah, you don't have to spend much time looking into their calendars, especially when you have many colleagues in your team. Yeah, gives a lot of value to your colleagues. Also, two additional things I would just want to add here. When you work with Outlook, you can, of course, not just find time on a regular basis. So you can use Meeting Poll to find a regular meeting time, so where everybody has time every second week, for example. This is always important to have at least a blocker with your colleagues. And also when working remotely, it's hard for the leaders to see what the colleagues are doing. Doesn't matter if it's bad or good. So therefore, also recommendation to the colleagues, just put your manager on CC. When you send the mail to the customer or something like this, this is not like, hey, look how great I am. This is just for visibility that your leader it's easier for him to follow what you are doing. Also, recommendation to your colleagues, to your employees, that to encourage them to put yourself on CC when you are a leader, so that you take care of what's going on. It's not for monitoring; it's just checking what's going on. All right, then jumping to Teams. And one thing that I really like, which is also looking into the appreciation factor, but also to have some fun performance key fun indicators. And this is just to use forms. One example how I used it for my team for the next team meeting as an offsite. So when we all came together, want to spend some time, then I simply used something. So next team meeting location. And the not very new, but the new integration is not just use the form board, as you may know, with mention forms. And then you can just raise question mark, and then the different options to answer. I like even more, you can do it here directly, but for clicking, you have now this little icon here to use forms. And here you have now additional options to set up this form. So I take this, for example, I just want to show it's fueled by artificial intelligence. And you can see, based on my question, it suggests me automatically typical answers. So even there, time saver for the manager, but this is not what we want to do now. And then you can provide location, for example. Whatever, multiple answers, whatever, keep answers anonymously. This is what you can do. You see an overview and then you can send it, but you can also use this just for a quick survey. Hey, are you currently happy with what's going on with the team? So this is also paying into the reflection demand for your colleagues, so that you really reflect, hey, I'm not sure how the team is currently feeling. am I performing good? For example, then you select, of course, anonymous feedback, and then your colleagues can just vote. And then it looks super nice. I want to go for bowling, for example. Your colleagues can vote for it, and everybody sees now already what's going on. Also, very transparent, clarity, structure, appreciation for the users, and depending on what kind of question you're answering, it also edits this reflection area. So no rocket science, but with very, very easy steps, you really satisfy the needs of your users across generations. All right. And on top, giving autonomy also to the users and let your users decide what's going on. So not your users, your employees. What I did with my team, and it's now very well appreciated and replicated in my context AI team and also in some other companies where I was recommending this, is using Planner in Teams. So I added here a tab called Teams Meeting. And what I did here is I added a bucket called new topics. So I gave the autonomy to my colleagues. If there's any topic you would like to bring up to discuss with the entire team, please bring it up here and yeah, type whatever it is. Whatever. So this, for example, and then let your team construct the next meeting agenda. So they can just move over what they want to discuss about. Of course, maybe provide the user, this is my recommendation, who was raising this topic, so that you know from who is this coming from. Maybe have a general task here. So maybe your general update task as your manager. So what's going on at the company, what's new with Teams, for example, or whatever that you have here as an ongoing update task. And in this case, you give the autonomy to your employees, and they decide the meeting agenda and not you top down. And for you, it's easy. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to prepare anything, kind of. So maybe, of course, what topic needs to be discussed, but you give the appreciation to your team that they can define the agenda and the topics they want to discuss about. And when everybody can see the agenda, this also adds clarity, structure, and yeah, makes it very nice to follow and makes you an empathic leader that you are not giving it top down. And depending on the task, it can be also some task that you are working on, then you move it over to completed. Or if there is something that can't be decided now, then just take it for later review. And then I would recommend set a due date so that this is popping up at a later time when you have maybe all information, and then you can come back to discuss about this. So this is very, very well used and easy use case from Planner integrated into Teams to to work with meeting agenda and to give clarity and structure to your team. All right, what else I would like to show? We have, of course, in our channels, the functionality to praise somebody. If you haven't seen it, it's simply this little icon here, and there you can just praise somebody. If you heard about the new Microsoft Viva, probably, and especially Viva Insights, this can even remind you every Friday or whatever you configure, hey, do you want to praise somebody of your colleagues for this week that somebody has did a great job? And then you can select one of these predefined badges, and then I can praise somebody. Great job, last demo, and then it will look like this, and everybody can see it. And this is an amazing appreciation to your colleagues to point somebody out when when somebody did something great. You should really do this and highlight this extra mile from somebody. What is pretty new And this is what I also like. Therefore, I opened here already this Teams Admin Center. So ask your Teams administrator that to the default praising badges that I just showed here, you can add super easy additional badges. So just go to the Praise app, click on create a custom badge, upload a regarding image. This is our Kai adoption board, just for your information. Teams adoption board. And then I think I had 2 colors here already. And then you can even add this. So even if you want to have a Teams own, just for your specific team, you can add this as well. And then you have your own badges. It takes a few moments to replicate. I'm not sure how quick it will show up, but yeah, I think you will. It takes a while. I will save this here now, but you get an idea. You can add then just your own badges, maybe for your specific team, and then you can show it here as well. So this is also a super nice point here. All right, additional one, what I always recommend so of course, use a team for your team. I heard sometimes the question, oh, but we have so many teams and then we have millions of teams and you still have a core team. And for this core team, I would really recommend have your dedicated team. Or if you are concerned about this and if you don't have the need for additional channels, then work with private channels in one Teams team, and then each team has their own private channel. Not the best solution, therefore I would say one team for a team, because then you can add additional channels like a water cooling talk, and there you just add all the fun stuff. So maybe best Teams video background picture of the week, or and this is also adding this fun into the conversation. Or maybe you can use best GIF for the keyword weekend without searching for weekend. So somebody who finds a funny GIF, for example, can post a scene. So this could be really this fun channel where you put everything like this together. Or you can also add here regarding channel meeting. And when we add this like this way, you can see when this meeting is started that here there's a little camera symbol. So whenever somebody is in this virtual kitchen and this virtual water cooling, then, oh yeah, I also just need a break. I just jump in. Or the regarding colleagues can also set and configure the regarding notification for this channel. So whenever somebody starts here this meeting, it will pop up, at this little pop-up channel. And then, oh, it's now in the virtual kitchen. Oh yeah, I need a coffee anyway, so let's join this meeting. And this is a nice way to also have this virtual kitchen in a remote environment. And also this adds this key fun indicator, and also is adding the social component just powered by Microsoft Teams. All right, and emojis, I don't have to talk about. You probably know about these little emojis here on top you find when you hover over it, but also using the GIFs. Honestly, GIFs was my enabler. When Teams started, I was also like, oh, now just an additional tool on top of email. Yeah, but I really had fun with these GIFs. So sometimes I'm a very easy person, but with this fun of these GIFs, my colleagues really convinced me. So therefore, I highly recommend switch on GIFs. Maybe don't make all GIFs, but at least this moderate so that your colleagues can use GIFs. And this is really making a lot of fun. So therefore, really use this. This is a big recommendation I can give. And then last but not least, where I come then to inspire your colleagues is you as a team owner. You could see some analytics. So how is this inspiring your users? Sure, this is not really inspiring your users, but sure, on this team, not a lot of things are going on, but you can see, are there a lot of posts or not? Are there some active users? Even if your company don't show the names of these users, you get an idea if all your users are active or only there are 2 active users and the rest are not writing at all. They're just maybe reading, so that you can get an idea. What's the sentiment? What's the idea? What's the feeling of the team? And with this, you can then start thinking about, okay, anyhow, there's not the balance in my team. I need to inspire some of them. So therefore you can go into the dialogue, maybe focus more on these one-on-ones, ask them, how are you feeling? Can I do something better? How can I engage you more with teams? And yeah, and then with just having this honest conversation, reflect really as a manager, take this feedback, and then you can also work on some ideas. The internet is full of some crazy things. So kind of games you can play in Teams. There are some other games so where you can bet on Google Maps. So where's the right location of this Google Street View picture, for example. My manager Oliver was playing this with us last time. This was super cool. So there are a lot of things where you can then really play with your colleagues to have an alternative meeting, just not a standard Teams meeting, but this will then inspire and take all of them back on the table, back into Teams. And when you need this, you will find out, looking into analytics, that maybe not all of your team is super engaged, is super inspired. So therefore, this is my recommendation, to also sometimes look into the analytics section. All right. A lot of talk now. I think I now talked about all these points here that I mentioned, and I hope that I was now able to inspire you to use a couple of these things. Maybe one last screenshot I can show you from what I mentioned on this special games. Where is it? So I hope that's okay for the folks being seen on the camera. But here, big thanks to my colleague Oliver here, amazing guy who built up this little camp. And yeah, and we were then playing here. So this is a little last hint. You can also organize in teams, of course, and then have another kind of meeting in your team. There was not a lot of things to do, but with a great effect in the end to become a better team lead in the end. All right, I'm now here on the end to put all the information on a bulk. Let me now check into the chat. Please also feel free to unmute yourself if you have a question. So are there any questions here? Okay, yeah, thanks for Vesco or Chris, not sure who posted. Yeah, it can take several hours to that the custom praise is published. Great hint here. Thanks, Mari. Yes, I'm not sure, Vesco. I'm more than happy to share also the slide. I'm not sure if this is recorded, so that you can definitely take all the hints that I shared here. But definitely spread this to the watchers.
We are recording, and we'll be sharing this in our YouTube channel, so everybody can enjoy these tips and tricks you shared with us.
Perfect. bring this to all your managers and share this. And this is just the first idea. Please send back what your experiences are, what worked well in your environment, in your team. This is the community. So it's about sharing is caring and learning from each other. So yeah. If no further questions.
Yes, there's a hand raised.
Oh yeah.
Gianni.
Yes, you say sharing some tricks as well. So what we do in our, let's say, international team is all 6 to 8 weeks using the whiteboard as well. A quite good creative tool in order to engage all the participants, not to sleep at the monthly meetings, for example. And what we do is actually we do some retrospective on how we collaborate and how we have achieved. So we celebrate first on what went very well, what we should continue, and then we gradually go to, okay, what should be slowed down, what should be done a little bit faster, what should be stop, what should be start. So it's called a kind of starship, you know, like a starfish, sorry. And the starfish helps actually to engage them, to bring some feedback as well to the manager, and to others as well. They didn't thought about. And in the next second level, we share also some, let's say, ideas to improve, concrete ideas, or also some discussion topics, some things which didn't went very well in our project phases, for example, and then we count on them. You know, everybody gets some points, 1, 3, 5, and 8 to give some good value about it, and then we pick and choose 1 or 2 with the most ratio, and then we discuss on this. And this meeting is taking 3 hours, not more than this. With a team of 8, 9 people.
That's awesome. That's really agile. I like this approach. Cool thing. Yep. Thank you.
It helps a lot.
And as you said, also something that hasn't worked well, I just highlighted celebrate success. So not only the praise, but also what haven't went well. It's lesson learned for everybody. It's great that you brought this up. Absolutely. This is also very good feedback of this reflection of a manager also, that just open communication. And yeah, we always want to work better, and therefore it's very well received to hear also these lessons learned. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rob. That was a really great session to watch. And Chris and I were chatting behind the scenes. And of course, one of those things I guess we noticed, okay, we tend to be very technical. We are sharing our views, how you can use Teams, and of course, perhaps in a bit more technical sense. But of course, what you are showing, how you can use these tools to achieve something to really make an effect and use the empathy in there. Okay.
That's right.
Chris, do you have any comments?
I think it was an absolutely awesome session. I mean, the key to Teams is really using Teams and getting people to buy into it and use it in all kinds of interesting ways, rather than just use it very dry and functionally. If people enjoy what it is that they're doing, they're going to learn more. They're going to be able to explore a lot more of the functionality. And you know, when I was first starting using Teams, I used to think that it was the kind of the big things, like, for example, let's say something like together mode that gets people interested in using Teams. It isn't. It's these little things that, you know, as Rob has shown time and time again throughout the session, that really gets people to buy in to using Microsoft Teams. And once they get these things, they then go on to explore everything else. So for me, this, you know, really unlocks the door for adoption and unlocks I would say the passion for Microsoft Teams within an organization, and they will become advocates and then go on and push it. And you'll have a lot of people on side, which makes them, which will facilitate them helping you to roll things out. So I think this is really key for people to use. It's like a playbook to go back and watch Rob's session and put some of those ideas into practice. I think it's awesome.